All right, welcome back to another episode of Three Dudes One Hoop. We got a really fun one for you. We're doing 25 and under NBA players through a draft. As always, I'm Mike. I'm here with Easy and Benny,
Yo,
and we're gonna do kind of it's a pretty popular list to see like 25 players under 25, right? I feel like that's like a very common NBA article that comes out as you get closer to the season. So, we wanted to kind of do our own take on that, and we want to do it through a draft. So, we have at our disposal all NBA players that are current 25 and under. And we're gonna do 6 picks each. We're gonna do snake order. So, I think it was easy. You had the first pick, right?
yep.
Uh, I had the second pick, and Benny has pick number 3. It's going to be snake style draft. So Easy's number 1 pick in the first round and 3 pick in the second round, so on and so forth.
Also, wait, sorry, Easy. Is
Yeah,
this is already recording, right? Or do we have to?
Yeah, this
yeah,
is
we're
recording.
recording. We're
Okay.
recording.
No,
It's
like for
recording.
I'm saying like the video.
Yeah.
Oh,
It records both
okay,
at the
okay.
same time.
Oh yeah, so Benny brings up a good point. So we're gonna actually have this Zoom, both audio, obviously in the podcast form, and we're gonna have video as well up on our YouTube channel. Benny, you want to plug the YouTube channel real quick?
Sure. The YouTube channel is Three Dudes One Hoop. If you don't find it, you should be able to. But if you don't find it, it's on Instagram. We have a link tree. Link tree. You just click on that. It has all your social medias and stuff, and there you can find the YouTube link. It should take you right to it.
Yeah, so there you go. So our link is there in the bio on Instagram. Make sure to follow us there. Follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and
Love
Podbean
it.
as always.
Love it.
Please rate and review.
Yeah.
So that being said, I guess we'll kick it off. Like I said, this is a draft for players 25 and under currently in the NBA. Easy, you have the number 1 pick, so you go ahead.
I really want to stop
Da-na-na-na.
getting the number one pick. This is the second draft
Yeah,
that
you
we
wanted the
do.
number. You were saying
I
before the pod,
wanted,
you wanted the
I
third
wanted
pick.
number three.
Don't
I
you
wanted
call
number
yourself a
three.
Kings fan, bro? You gotta
I
be
am a
happy
Kings
with
fan.
these top 3 picks.
Yeah,
Well, if this was really me being a Kings fan, I'd be super stoked to get the third pick for once and not like the seventh. So like, I guess with the
It'd be
number one
great.
pick, let's go. Let's do this. Number one pick, I'm taking Luca. I don't think that was a question for anybody at this point. Maybe for some, if you want to go like hot takes here, but bro, the production speaks for itself. The man has willed Dallas into the playoffs more times than I can count. Took the Clippers, who made the conference finals, but this time with Kawhi on that team, to 7 games. Um, what can't this man do? EuroLeague MVP. Um, Rookie season, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Only gets better every year. The efficiency's gotten better as well. He literally jumped this season from he went from 46% to 47 from the field, but then he went from the 3-point line 31% to 35%. So he's showing signs of actually improving as a shooter, if that's even possible. And then I mean, you can knock him on the defense, but I'm hoping the rest of my roster helps out with that. I don't know
His
how you
size
don't
helps
go
you with that
Luka.
too. I mean,
Yeah,
what is he, 6'7", 6'8", something like that? I mean, he's huge.
he also gives me some versatility. I don't necessarily have to have him covering like guards. I can have him covering a small forward from time to time, and he could still play the ball handler role. In today's league, you don't need a traditional point guard. Luka just does everything right on offense, and defensively, he won't be enough of a liability with the rest of the guys I'll draft to be concerned about taking him number one. I don't even think this is the question.
Yeah, I agree. He probably would have been my number 1 pick too. What about you, Benny?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely number 1 pick. I think he even led the NBA in triple doubles last season.
Oh,
Right?
really? Wow.
I think he did. Yeah, I know he had like
It wasn't
10 at
Westbrook?
least at one point. Maybe
For
Westbrook.
once, it
For
maybe
once, but
wasn't
it might have
Westbrook.
it might have been Westbrook, but I know at one point Luka Doncic was
Like in the lead?
leading that category right in the regular season. Might have been Westbrook, but Luka was definitely leading that category at one point. Like you said, he carried the Mavericks. That guy, I think, out of all this list, out of all the players that we can choose from, he's the only one that's an MVP candidate for sure for the rest of his career. I think you
Yeah.
could say, and he's an obvious number 1 pick for me as well.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess I'm up now, right?
Yep.
All
Okay.
right. So I was really in between 2 guys, but I think I just got to go with the younger of the 2 with the higher ceiling. So I'm gonna go Zion number 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm doing Zion number
Whoa.
2.
But are you
Benny,
actually
congrats,
surprised?
bro.
Or
Congrats,
I
Benny.
I keep nuking the the number 2 pick in
I'm
these draft orders that we
are
surprised.
do.
you really easy?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Oh, why are you
Wow.
surprised? I mean, I feel like he's
Yeah.
the
Because
obvious
I
pick.
want to hear.
I would have
wanna
taken
hear-
him.
What's your take? What's your
I
take?
want. I want to. No, I want to hear your case first. I want to see if you can convince me. Because I used to agree with that take. I want to see if you can
Okay.
get me back to it.
Interesting. I mean, I just think number one, he's 20 years old, so he's literally a baby. He's already shown that he can be. He's practically unstoppable in the paint. I think his skill set. Yeah, I mean the shooting isn't that great. But I think he can get better. Um, and I don't know. I just see him as somebody over the next like 6, 7, 8 years plus, who's just gonna be like a perennial all-star, perennial, all NBA type of guy. I think he has that in him. Um, and he's super versatile. Like he's 6'7", 280. He's probably like a little heavier than he should be. But you can basically put him at 4 positions on the court pretty easily. If you want to play small ball, he's your perfect small ball 4 in my opinion. You can even stretch it out to 5 if you really have a good team, like shooters around him and all that stuff. That's kind of tough, but
Yeah.
definitely first 4 is great. He's getting you offensive rebounds like crazy. I was reading something now. He's off to the fastest scoring start through 60 games since MJ. So like, he's already a scoring machine. I think he has to polish up the other aspects of his game, but defensively, I think he has a lot of promise as a rim protector. And I think he's just scraping the iceberg of what he can do offensively, and he's already averaging like 25, 26 a game. So I think for somebody who's not even 21 yet, like I'll take that.
Yeah. Again, I don't think you're wrong. I don't know. Like the way that the league is today, you need to be able to shoot if you're going to be the best guy on your team, unless you're Giannis. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Zion being enough of a force like Giannis to make that happen. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you. I don't think he'll be a
disagree.
Giannis, but I think he's like not that far off either, or at least he has the potential to be that. Like I said, he's only 20, so I don't know if he'll be Giannis. That's kind of a high bar, and he doesn't have like the measurables, obviously, but I think he can get like close.
I disagree just because if we're comparing him to Giannis, Zion is already more dominant than Giannis was at this stage in their careers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I don't see Zion having the physical development or again, you can talk about Zion, the physicals being 280. He's 6'7". Giannis literally grew basically to 7 feet, and he's still he's built. Like he's not like.
But I see him playing like a little bit differently than Giannis because, I think obviously the 280 is an issue, and he'll have to lose the weight. But I think if he can stretch out his game a little bit more, I think he has the potential to have, maybe he won't be a knockdown 3-point shooter. I don't really see that, but I think he can be respectable just like Giannis is. And, he has kind of more potential. Well, I don't want to say more potential because Giannis is very dominant in the paint, but I just think at his size and the fact that you can put a big next to him, it wouldn't really hamper your team, defensively. I don't know. I think he has a lot of potential to grow and really, he's already so dominant in the paint. I think if you can stretch out a little bit more and you could put from a team building perspective, you could put another big in there. He doesn't need the ball in his hands. He moves great on the court. Like, I don't know. I think he could be pretty dominant.
But what do you guys think he needs to do physically then? Because we were talking about the weight, which I guess could be a concern, but he can also still jump onto the nosebleed section in the arena.
He jump out of the ceiling. No, it's true. That's the crazy part. Like even at his size, he can still do all those crazy athletic things. I think the weight is more of an issue when you talk about like injury concern.
Right.
But if he does lose the weight, he could probably be a lot, even more quicker than.
My concern would just be more that he's on the Pelicans. And we were talking about that report that came out with David Griffin yesterday. It doesn't seem like the Pelicans have been making the best out of their Zion sweepstakes.
Yeah, to say the least.
We'll see when that expires.
I don't know, man. David Griffin singing to Zion in a piano bubble in the same bubble. I don't know, man. That's pretty inspirational. If my GM sang me a song from time to time, maybe we'd get along,
He's trying to give him a lullaby to make him go to sleep.
Maybe that's what gets Zion going, to put up the 27 points.
I mean, something's motivating.
I don't know, bro. With Zion, I think it's just I'm a little suspect about him developing an outside game, just because I've seen the form. Like it's not bad, but it's not the prettiest thing in the world. It's not like if he starts making shots like that, he'll never get a shot like that because people will actually start guarding him like that. So I'm like, we'll see. Like again. He would have been probably top 4 for me, personally.
Oh wow, you got him 4. Okay, well I'm interested to see what's next. So I guess Benny, you're up at number 3.
I'm picking Jason Tatum. I think he's one
Would've
of
been my pick.
the best two-way players that we have in the NBA, and that's not like taking any part of that lightly at all. He's one of the premier perimeter defenders in the NBA at any age. You compare him to any player at any age group. His offensive scoring gets better every single season. It was already good when he came into the NBA, but this past season, the numbers he had of 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, which is all these numbers are career highs, by the way, that I'm throwing out.
Yeah.
His field goal percentage, his shot attempts went up. He is the top guy. As much as I love Jaylen Brown, and I'm sure one of us are going to pick him soon, he is the top guy in Boston at only 22 years old. And again, 22 years old, one of the best defenders and one of the best offensive scorers in the NBA. What more could you want from a player of that age at that caliber already? And perfect size as well, 6'8", 210, I believe.
Yeah.
Ideal player for me, at least.
Yeah. Speaking on Tatum, it's hilarious because he has career highs. But honestly, like, if his team wasn't so injured this year and wasn't so horrendous, I think he has even better stats, personally. This man had to carry his team throughout the entire season. Like, there were just guys going down left and right. Your point guard goes down. Marcus Smart was out in the beginning of the season for a while, so you lose your best defender there. It was him and Jaylen Brown pretty much running the show for the whole season, and they don't have any good centers. I mean, you could say Robert Williams, but, like, really? Are we really going to? Come on, man. I mean, again, he's a great center, but, like, he's not going to be a guy that wins you games offensively.
Kimbo Walker had a down year, so.
Kimbo Walker's had a down couple years. But,
right.
Yeah, it's been bad.
This guy could legitimately be like all NBA first team defender. Like, that's how good this guy is. And then all NBA. You don't think so? I think he definitely could.
I just think
he could be all NBA.
I think he could, but, like, I think there's just a lot of guys that specialize so much in defense now that it's so hard for a guy to do both and be all NBA in both, like, all NBA in general and then all NBA defensively. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
That's
I
fair.
think because we know. I think because we see him score so many points and we see him add moves to his arsenal. Shameless plug for my garbage ass team. We see him add so many moves to his repertoire every summer. I think we kind of think of him first more as a scorer.
Right.
But I really do think that he's at that level. I mean, we'll see this season if he gets better on that. But honestly, I think it's harder to get better than where he's at right now, at least defensively.
I think he has to get better. I mean, I think
maybe from a workload perspective, you're saying for Boston.
Not even
what he has to do for Boston,
from, like, an efficiency aspect, that, like, he won't be the center of attention. Like, him and Jaylen won't be the only centers of attention. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm saying as a defender. I don't think he can get much better.
Defense? I mean,
yeah. I just think he's really good.
I mean, he's good.
Very, very good.
But again, like, it really just depends on the team as well, because he could be struggling on defense.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
He can't cover everybody. Like,
for sure.
Defense is a team effort as well. Like, for example, like, Matisse Thybulle's making all defensive teams. Like, he's a great defender, but Philly was good on defense because they have Ben Simmons, they have Joel Embiid. Like, they're going to be good on defense. So, like, except in the playoffs, but that's not the point. So yeah, I like the pick of Tatum though. Don't get me wrong. Like, that, I think Tatum would have been my second pick actually, personally.
Yeah, Tatum was the one I was like deciding between with Zion and Tatum. So yeah, I agree. I agree with it when he said I think he has like a super high ceiling.
Benny, you have the fourth pick?
I do.
Back to back.
I do. And I'm going to use it on Devin Booker.
Ooh, nice.
God.
Obviously one of the best scorers in the NBA. And we saw this past season that it's not empty stats, because you throw Chris Paul into the team, a very heavy ball handler, and you see how he's still able to put up similar numbers, and he's not able to like lose his rhythm, I guess, as in an offense with Monty Williams and these guys. He's still able to basically say you can still have the debate, even though as much as Chris Paul needs to have the ball, and as well as Chris Paul played for the Suns this past season, and obviously making it all the way to the finals, it would still, is it Devin Booker or is it CP3? Who's the best player on that team? I think Devin Booker could play very well next to any star player if you can play very well with CP3.
Absolutely.
So I'll throw him in there with Tatum.
Yeah, definitely would have been my pick. I agree.
Yeah, Devin Booker for sure, top player. I even remember coming out of the draft, because I think it's the case with a lot of Kentucky guys. They kind of underplay how good they are in Kentucky, at least for the ones that like end up working out in the NBA. Like, you see them, you're like, how come they weren't so crazy in college, right? Like, you get, like, for example, Cat was the number 1 pick, but his stats in college were like not like eye popping. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they were like, I think it was like 15-10 maybe. Like it wasn't anything crazy. Like you got Devin Booker. He was the sixth man on a Kentucky team. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so just seeing the development of how he's been able to develop as an offensive player, I don't think we've had a guy that like has been so consistent offensively on bad teams. Like, think about that for a second. This man, efficiency wise, on horrible teams has gone up every year. And then finally this year, he had a teammate that could actually like, carry the burden for him. And I think we noticed that throughout the season where he wasn't, there were times where he wouldn't have to dominate. And that was fine because, again, like Benny said, if he's your second best player on your team or even your first, you can still go pretty far. But at least in the case of Benny's team right now, Tatum and Booker, that's a tough team already. Like I can't like.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really like those are 1-2 punch that you can't really like do anything with.
Yeah.
And
When people
I really
like to throw.
you know,
Sorry, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I really like Devin Booker's his offensive game obviously is what he's known for. His defense isn't bad, but I was gonna say on offense, he's not afraid to like go to the foul line, he hits free throws at a high rate, and I really like that when a scorer is like, unlike Ben Simmons, when a scorer likes to go and get fouled and is not afraid of the contact. I think that's like super valuable to your bottom line of winning. So
Yeah.
but yeah, go ahead, Benny.
I was just gonna say that he had a reputation for a little bit of being like an empty stats guy. I think that was mainly due to I guess the team not being successful. But because like to Easy's point was saying that it's not empty stats because his efficiency was decent from the beginning and it improved every single season, even though he was still on bad team. It's not like his efficiency got as good as it is now once Chris Paul turned up, right? It was very good before that. And so that's always like the thing of like, that's always like the best indicator of knowing whether a player is an empty stats guy or not. Like if you say like a Devontae Graham, he puts up 18 points, but on like 36% shooting, you could say maybe that's kind of empty stats, but not for Devin Booker. He is, he's well rated at the level that he is as one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's you now, Mike.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is the number
Number
5 pick.
pick.
All right.
Oh God.
So may be a little controversial. I'm not really sure how you guys are gonna react to this, but I think I gotta go. Given that I have Zion Williamson, it's like my 4. I want to get shooting, good ball handler,
Ben Simmons.
playmaker. Yeah, Ben Simmons, right? I gotta go with Trae Young here.
Oh,
I'm gonna take him off the board. I think the guy's only 22 years old. All right, I'm building a squad of like freaking like college juniors and seniors right now. But I think what he did in the playoffs last year, or this past season, speaks for itself. He proved that he can actually do all the crazy shit that he does on the court and win games, which I think was a big question for a while because it's the question was, okay, he's trying to be Steph Curry, but the winning isn't there.
it was a little bit of empty stats talk with him too.
100%, yeah. And I think now with the team around him, good, better coaching, he's proven that I can lead a team to a playoff run, and maybe not a championship, but I think already has Zion Williamson there. I think that 1-2 punch pick and roll is like, what the hell are you gonna do with that? So yeah, I gotta go Trae Young here.
Yeah, that would have been, at least in your situation and even mine, if you left me him on the board, I'm taking him.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering how you guys would react because I feel like he's kind of a controversial player.
I
wasn't expecting him now, but yeah, it is a good pick. And with Zion, it's a great fit.
Right. Benny, who would, like, we're going to probably end up picking the guy that you thought would be picked next, but who would you think that he would have taken in that situation?
I was honestly thinking Trae Young is probably the better pick here, but I was probably thinking more of a Jaylen Brown because Zion
this early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't wait on Jalen, so but maybe not me. I think maybe Benny's gonna take him.
My reasoning for that, I guess offensively, not as many moves as a Jason Tatum, but a guy that improves heavily every single season. I think he was 26, 27 points a game last year. And obviously a great 3-point shooter next to Zion. And then on top of that, Zion isn't the best defender. Whereas Jaylen Brown is a very good defender. With Jason Tatum, the way I view Tatum and Brown, it's like Tatum, and then but just behind them, maybe like a 1C, 1B, 1C type of guy.
I like Brown a lot.
That's right.
I like Brown a lot too.
Yeah. I like Brown a lot, but I don't know. I need a little more time to think about that one. I gotta let that sit.
I think he's.
It's because I think that offense runs through Jason Tatum there.
Yeah.
I think if the offense ran through him, we would see.
Right, but that's what I want to know. Would he get better if the offense ran through him as the number one option?
My thing is, I
think
love
so.
him as the number 2. Like, if he's your number 2,
Yeah,
Batman,
that's
and he has
great.
the personality for it too, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is really important, and he brings good leadership. So I agree with like on a team with Zion to have a Jaylen Brown type of guy who's he's still young, but I think he has a certain maturity and leadership qualities that you gotta like, and he does things that lead to winning. So I really love Jaylen Brown too. I think I don't know if he's could be a number 1 option on like a championship winning team. Maybe he could. I'm not saying he can't, but if he's your number 2, like he's a damn good number 2.
So who would you have? Because I don't think I think we had 2 different players then, Easy, when you asked me that question.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take one of the guys that I think that maybe could have been considered.
For Mike's pick.
Let me just make sure I want to make this pick for a second.
Yeah, I
gotta think about this one for a second. I gotta check something out. I gotta make sure something checks out here.
I get you.
I'm not sure, bro. Where is it? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay,
The
I know
pick
who
is
I'm
in.
taking. I know
The
who I'm
pick
taking.
is in.
I am gonna take Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
taking Mitchell. Considering that I have Luka, I know that might be a little bit weird, but also Luka clearly can play off ball, and he can also just pass the ball. I don't need him scoring every single second of the game. In fact, he gets tired towards the end of games, so it's probably better if I don't have him as my primary scorer at the end of games, except for the last second shot, because then he makes them. But whatever. Donovan Mitchell. The work speaks for itself. He has a great team, but he's the best player on a team that's the number 1 seed every single year. And if the goal of the whole thing is to make playoffs and actually win, I need to get to the playoffs first. Donovan Mitchell is going to get me there. From the second he joined the league, he was averaging 20 points a game. His efficiency has stayed about the same, but then again, who else is a primary scorer on that team besides Bojan Bogdanovic and Mike Conley? Really? Like, if those are your best offensive options, you're probably not going to have the greatest field goal percentage efficiency, but his 3-point percentage is getting better every year, and the volume is getting higher. He was shooting 36 last season, and then now it's 38%, and he shot 2 more threes a game after that. So the efficiency is getting there. His assists are going up every season. He's going to get better as a defender. He's a little undersized, but I slot him as a point guard or a shooting guard. I could put him off ball. It's not the end of the world, and he makes too much of an impact offensively to not warrant picking him at this point. Like, I think the talent is just it's too great. Like, we see that the sky's the limit for all these other guys. Donovan Mitchell is 24, and he's 25 now, actually, but it was like 16 days ago. So he's 25. And I don't know, like, I trust him as a second option. Like,
I really like Donovan too. My first like immediate concern was like, well, I think even though Donovan, you don't want Donovan to be the creator, the shot creator for others. You want him to play off ball.
Yeah.
But I feel like you don't want to take the ball out of Luka's hands. So it's kind of like like a give and take. That being said, like, if you have both those guys on your team, like they're gonna figure it out. It's not like a huge concern of mine.
He can't play off ball.
Yeah.
Because he has Mike Conley now. Mike Conley needs the ball. Mike Conley takes a lot of shots, even though Mike Conley hasn't played very well. In Utah, it took him a little while to, I guess, adjust. Exactly, get his footing.
Yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell was still putting up his usual good numbers, great numbers.
Yeah, and the team had more success when he wasn't like
right. Exactly.
Guard, so.
Exactly. Yeah.
And listen, if anybody's gonna question how well he plays in the playoffs, like,
no, he's a beast.
Turned up
in the bubble. He was crazy.
In the bubble, he averaged 36 a game on 50% shooting and 51% from 3. This season, when he had to play against the Clippers, where his whole team struggled, he was shooting 44 from the field and then 43 from the 3-point line, and he was averaging 32 a game. So if there's a question about this man stepping up when he needs to, he's stepping up. He just needs his team to step up. So yeah, I'm happy taking Mitchell. And then this is where things get a little bit weird for me. I don't know what to pick here because I'm picking based on what you guys have. I guess I'm going to go with, the upside I hope this guy has. And I think he has more upside than the other player that I might have considered picking. I'm picking Cat.
Ooh, wow. Okay. That's
I'm picking Cat.
Pick. Yeah.
He is 25, only for another 50 days.
Okay, so he qualifies for 50 days.
He qualifies for what we're doing.
Yeah.
Makes it.
We've seen
I'm taking this podcast down after 50 days.
Hey man, but Cat, he's been relatively healthy his entire career other than the bubble year. That was just a weird year in general. The one time he made playoffs, struggled a bit, but whatever. I'm not going to attribute him being bad in the playoffs to one series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with Cat, I'm getting a guy who can play inside, but he can also play outside, extend the range for Luka to clear the paint when he does decide to pick and roll. Cat offensively, I don't think we have a question about Cat as an offensive player. He can even create 4.5 assists last season. Defensively, needs to get better. We agree on that. But you take the bet on a guy that is such a difference maker offensively that you just hope that it opens up the floor for everybody else. And that's the way I'm looking at this, because I could have taken Bam right now, and maybe you would have thought like he fits better just because he won't need the ball as much in his hands. But I don't think Cat needs the ball in his hands either, if I'm being honest. I need him to just be in the paint, getting rebounds, or to extend the range. He doesn't even, in this system, he doesn't need the ball in his hands. And even we saw that with Jimmy too. We saw that with Jimmy, where Jimmy was the primary guy on that team, if we're being honest. It was Jimmy, Cat, and then it was Andrew Wiggins too. And Andrew Wiggins, we know Andrew Wiggins from the Timberwolves. That guy was jacking up shots like there was no tomorrow. So, like, I'm taking Cat here. It might be a little controversial, but I'm riding with the guy that can give me some offensive upside. I mean, look at this. He's shooting like 6 or 8 threes a game in the last 2 seasons, and he's shooting 40%, 38% from three. Like, a lot of 7-footers don't do that. And the way Luka plays, where like he would, like what Porzingis is supposed to be, that's what Cat is. And if I can get that out of Cat, that's already a dub. So I'm taking Cat here. Could have taken Bam, but I'm going to hesitate on that a little bit, just because I think I have another shot at getting another guy later that can kind of make up for that. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, the Cat pick, like, I feel like his tenure in Minnesota has been so bad that it just kind of like clouds just how good he is. So I get it for sure, like why some people would be like, oh my God, what do you mean you're gonna take Cat? He doesn't win empty stats type of thing. But he's like you were saying, like he is a transformational offensive talent, and that's why he was drafted, at the position that he was. And he's shown it in the NBA. I think he could, be really good on your team. Your team, remind me who's on your team again, Easy?
I got right now Mitchell, Luka, and Cat.
Yeah, that's great. I think that trio is pretty good. So
I had mentioned him, Cat, on the last pod we did about the centers as one of those guys that, if he kind of gets that motivation thing, he gets that together, that he could crack into that top 10 centers of all time. I think he's a really special talent for sure. I like the pick a lot for Easy, to be honest.
And like, I was thinking from the perspective of who do we have available? And I just think that the talent disparity, like, I don't want to say Bam isn't as good as Cat, because obviously Bam is a better defender, like a way more versatile defender. But like, I cannot see, like, for example, Benny's saying he's a generational talent. I don't consider Bam a generational talent, right?
That's fair.
I consider Bam a very quality center, especially for the day and age that we're playing in today. Because honestly, the way that he plays probably wouldn't have worked in the 2000s, because centers weren't meant to be doing that. And that's what Bam does best, is what the NBA does today. In terms of a big that's able to get rebounds and like actually move around the floor and play on the perimeter whenever the pick switches as a defender. Like, Bam's really good at that.
That's what makes him unique, though, is that he can guard any position for real.
So that's great, but I wouldn't consider that a generational talent. Cat, I can see on the right team being a generational talent.
Yeah.
So that's my reasoning for picking Cat. And now I'm gonna be really sad when you take the rest of the guys that I want. But
I think it's Mike now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's my turn now. Really struggling with this pick, but I think I gotta take him now so he doesn't get taken later. So I'm gonna go Jaylen Brown on this. We already talked about him, but I think he makes a perfect small forward for my team. I slide him in there at the 3. He can guard up, like we were talking about earlier. I think his defense really helps me out with Zion and Trae Young. So I kind of have 2, like, I don't want to call Zion the defensive liability, but at this stage, he's not really a plus player. Trae Young definitely is a liability, but I think Jaylen Brown can help him a lot on switches. So yeah, I think Jaylen Brown's, like, for me, he's the obvious pick. So I don't really have much more else to say about it.
I like it. I think you need a defense for sure with Trae and Zion, and you added an elite 3-point shooter next to Trae and next to Zion. Obviously, I think it's a really good pick.
Yeah, I like the pick. It's a solid guy, has improved every year. You don't need to worry about him asking for star treatment. He's just a
Yeah.
stand-up guy. He's gonna do his role. He's a great leader. He all-star last year. Just a solid pick. I think he's a better defender than Tatum, personally.
Yeah, I would say right now he is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the only thing I'm slightly concerned about is him getting into a fight with Trae Young when Trae Young starts to do like Trae Young shit during the regular season. but I think that'll blow over. I think they can figure it out. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
That's a
definitely
good
gonna
pick.
take Young there.
I think
Or
you
Jaylen
have to
Brown.
because I think Benny would have definitely taken Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I think given
Um,
where we were in the draft, I think now is the perfect time. So I guess
Yeah,
that with that being said, it's Benny's turn, right?
Yeah.
I actually wasn't gonna take Jaylen Brown.
Ooh, okay,
Oh,
spicy.
This is.
I might throw you guys off with the second one now
No,
that
let's
you
do
guys
it.
mentioned
Do this to
Jaylen
me.
Brown for me, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Do this to me. Oh.
For the first one, my third pick in the third round, third pick in the third round, I'm taking Bam Adebayo, one of the
Bam,
elite
okay.
defenders in the NBA. We were just talking about him. He can guard 1 through 5. A lot of times that's kind of like a little cliche thing that people throw around. Oh, he can guard 1 through 5, but a lot of times it's not really true. Depending on the player that we're talking about, I think for Bam it definitely is true. People that are listening have probably seen those clips of him squaring up Steph Curry and things like that.
Yeah, he does that pretty often.
He doesn't play against Stephen Curry every
Yeah.
night, obviously, but we do see him switch up onto a point guard pretty much every single night and do a very good job. Obviously, for the Miami Heat, he's another one of those guys that gets better every year. He exploded that season that the Heat made the finals, where he went from like 9 points to like 16, 17 points, something like that. This past season, he was at 19, 19 and 10, 19 and whatever type of player. Obviously, the blocks at the rim, Jason Tatum, his teammate, knows a lot more about that now that they're going to be playing together. Jason Tatum doesn't have to worry about Bam Adebayo meeting him at the rim.
Doesn't worry about him stealing his son.
Yeah, right. A great playmaker too for a big man is something that gets talked about enough about him. Maybe it does, but I don't really hear it enough personally. That he's a very good playmaker for his size. We see him a lot of times for the Miami Heat. Literally on the inbounds pass is you just give the ball to Bam Adebayo and he literally walks it up the court. It's very rare, especially for a center. It's kind of that position. It's kind of like that trademark Eric Spoelstra center that you would imagine if you go back to the Miami Heat days. That whole position, this stuff kind of took off. Bam Adebayo, I think, is an awesome player, and he fits really well in my team with Tatum and Booker so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, I agree with you.
Okay, and then I guess the next pick, I'm going with Shea Gilges Alexander, baby.
Nice.
Ooh, SGA. Okay.
I like
So
it.
why SGA?
I got a good reaction out of you guys. I feel more comfortable now. I'm not sweating.
I think he's really good, but why SGA over some of the other point guards? Because there are a lot of point guards left. So
there are a lot of point guards.
That is Shea is one of the most well-rounded players in the league. And honestly, I could even play him. I could even play him at shooting guard if I wanted to. I think that's where he played this year for Oklahoma City. Yeah. But I could play him as shooting guard if I wanted to. I'm just gonna say point guard for now, just as the example, as I'm talking about him. But like I said, I think he's one of the most well-rounded players in the NBA. 24 points a game, 6 assists. He's almost at a block, actually, man. 6 assists a game. I think I mentioned that already. He gets a lot of rebounds as well, I guess. Even though he's playing on the perimeter a lot of times, he gets like over 5 rebounds a game. He's a really complete player, man. That's not even talking about his defense. He's a great defender. He's a really good ball handler. He gets better at that every year. His turnovers do take a hit, but also he's playing on a team that doesn't have any ball handlers. He's playing on the Thunder.
No, I forgive him for this.
So that's going to be, exactly. That's always going to be like a thing that might be a little high for him as long as he's on a team like that. But the best thing about him, man, is that he's on a team like Oklahoma City, but his efficiency is ridiculous. His effective field goal percentage, I was looking at it when I was researching my pick, is 57%. That's the same as Bam Adebayo's, and the guy's a center that only plays around the basket.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Bam Adebayo only dunks, basically. He doesn't have that mid-range shot.
Literally
catching alley-oops from Dragic this past season. But yeah, I love Shea. I think he's a great player, and he'll fit like I said, he's super efficient, so he'll find his spots pretty much everywhere depending on who his teammates are. I think he'll do well.
I want to clip you saying I love Shea. I don't know. I feel like that's a good soundbite to have.
It's a good pick, though. I like Shea a lot. And considering the fact that we've seen him improve to the level that he has and being on 2 teams already, and I'm pretty sure, I want to say, no, 2 coaches. They've had the same coach for OKC, but
he played for Donovan. He played for Donovan.
Right, but
he's had 3 coaches.
No way. Because he played for the Clippers. He
right.
had OKC the year with Chris Paul.
Yeah, with Donovan. And then now the new guy.
They fired Donovan after?
Donovan is coaching the Bulls, man.
Oh, yeah. Donovan's coaching the Bulls. That's right.
Donovan's coaching
he's
the
at
Bulls.
the-
Yeah,
This
who's
guy,
coaching the Thunder?
I always forget this guy's name, but he's a new guy. I'll try to find it while
So
you
they
talk about him.
fired
if you
Billy
want.
Donovan after making playoffs with CP3?
Yeah, he's in
Oh,
Chicago.
it's Mark. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name.
It's a weird name. Right?
Mark Daniels, something like that.
So now
Mark
he's gonna be on-
Diagonal,
so-
Mark
wait, so
Diagonal.
you're saying that
Diagonal,
now he's going to be on his third coach.
Right, he's
Like the
exactly he's on the
start-
third coach.
Okay. So now he's going to be on his third coach, but with the stats that we have in front of us in 2 seasons, I mean, 2 different coaches, he gets better every year. His efficiency gets better every year, if that's even possible. His 3-point shooting is good. He might have to become more of a shooter, at least from the outside. He has 4.9. Some of the stars of today don't. Like, you usually see them take more shots. So I think he's going to have to go up a little bit if he wants to give himself that full ability on offense to be a presence from the outside and the inside, because he's already an inside presence already. Like 50% is unheard of for a guard. So I think he needs to do that, but that's just a really solid guy. Like, I know I'm not going to lose games because of Shea.
Yeah.
And I could say a lot of the guys that we have on our rosters already have lost games because of what they've done. Like,
Oh yeah, that's
He's
no
a really
question about
solid
it.
player, and he can fill whatever role it is that you need for whatever situation you are, not just for the roster that you have going into a season, but any situation within like any specific game and any specific game script. He can do whatever you need.
Dope.
absolutely. Leva, you
All right,
have
so
the
I'm
next pick?
next. Yep.
Okay,
Don't-
I'm
don't
glad
do me
I'm
dirty.
next because I'm really glad that I'm able to pick this guy. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about him. I feel like maybe it's a little bit of a surprise. I don't know. I feel like we've said that about every pick so far. But I love Domantas Sabonis.
Nice.
So I'm picking him here.
Damn.
I think he's
Damn.
perfect for my team. I
There's
really
a run on centers right now.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
run on
we
centers
are-
for sure. There's a lot of
Oh.
good side note. Those are a lot of really good young centers in the league right now. So
I noticed how versatile they are, like the different things that they can do. No, I get
I mean,
Mike's point. I get Mike's
compared to
point.
like
Exactly.
5-10 years ago, you know what I mean?
I get Mike's point. Yeah.
Right. That's fine.
You know,
but
I get we said in the last pod, this is not a center renaissance, but there's a lot of good big men. And I think Domantas is great. Just to quickly read his stats from last season, he averaged 20 points, 12 rebounds. He was shooting 53% from the field, 56% effective field goal, 73% from the line, 32% from the 3-point line. So obviously he's not a knockdown shooter, but you got to respect him if he's out there. At 6'11", I can play him as power forward center, so I kind of mix and match with him. His passing for me is great, and especially on this team with Zion cutting, with Trae Young, if he's playing off ball, you can have a center kind of set him up if you're doing pick and roll, let's say. So I don't know. I really like Domantas Sabonis. I think he has a lot of, he's been playing with Miles Turner for the longest time, but they got rid of him finally. But now with the chance to shine on his own team, I'm trying to remember how old he is. He's 25, so he
Can't
just
be
turned
older than
25.
25, I guess.
Yeah, can't be older than 25. No, he is 25. So I think he has a lot of good years left ahead of him. And now that he is kind of running the show there in Indiana, I think he's going to have a lot of really good seasons. So yeah, I love Sabonis. Fantasy legend, by the way. If you're playing NBA fantasy this year, he's a nice little sleeper guy to look out for. So yeah, I like Sabonis on my team.
nice. I love the pick. Sabonis gets better every year, and he's played on
He
like
does.
3 different teams. So like, it's a miracle
Yeah.
he's even like. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know,
dredges of Indiana, he's still really good. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
I think he's
and that's
super
with the shaky
underrated.
coach. Yeah.
very
Right.
underrated. Yeah,
I
very
think he's
underrated.
super underrated. That one year he was in Oklahoma City. Obviously, he was raw. He just came into the league. He wasn't.
Mhm.
He was playing, but like he wasn't really contributing as much. I think that was the year that Oklahoma City. If it wasn't that year, it was the year after Oklahoma City would have made the finals. I guess it was wasn't there for the Paul George trade or something like that. Oh no, he was using the Paul George trade, right? Is that what
No,
it
he was using the Paul George trade.
Right.
to-
So he was on the roster probably that had. Did he play with Kevin Durant or no? I think he did.
He played in 16-17, so I guess not, right?
I
Or
guess
is
I
not.
that-
don't think so.
No,
yeah.
that was the year.
By
after
then he
Kevin
was
Durant
he
left.
had already left. Yeah.
Right.
But
Whatever.
they-
Either
they-
way, he came
they
in.
were
He
so
wasn't.
good.
Yeah, exactly. He came in. He wasn't as noticeable, I guess, on the court when you're playing with him. But then he went to Indiana. So you're gonna be underrated if you're playing in Indiana. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. They're not talked about very much, but Great player. I'm surprised. I'm sure he's gonna get picked. Actually, I don't know if he's gonna get picked, but I'm kind of surprised you didn't pick Aiden. But I thought you would have gone with him.
If
but
Sabonis was gone by the time I needed a center, I probably would have picked Aiden. I don't know if I would have picked him the next round because I felt like he would have fell a little bit more. But
yeah,
he was definitely on my radar. And just to reiterate, the guy is averaging 20, 12, and almost 7 assists. So
we're
it's
talking about
crazy.
Sabonis, right?
Yeah, Sabonis. So
I'm letting you know right now, Sabonis was getting taken next pick.
Okay, thank God. Thank God I was next.
You had to take it. You had to take it because I was looking at it and I'm like, there's no way they don't realize that this guy.
Yeah, no, I
is
mean, I had to
25.
take him. He's perfect for my team, so I'm really happy
Yeah.
with it. But
No, it makes
so go ahead.
perfect sense.
So who are you gonna take now? This is
This
first
is-
pick of the 4th round, or
Yeah,
I already forget.
I think we're in the 4th round now.
It's okay. We'll figure it out later.
Actually, wait, I could count it up. Yeah, we're in the 4th round. Last pick of the
Okay.
4th round.
Last pick of the 4th round.
I'm at a standstill right now. I didn't think my team would shake out like this. I'm a little thrown off.
We threw off easy.
Yeah. So my team clearly needs defense, right? I think we could agree on
Could
that.
say
I got
so.
Donovan Mitchell, Luka,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Cat. So I did Dwight for the top 10 centers Hall of Fame. He's hated on. I'm gonna pick another guy that's hated on. I'm gonna pick Ben Simmons. I'm gonna take Ben Simmons.
Ooh, okay.
Finally, I was waiting for
he
it.
would have had to been taken at some point.
That's the guy
For
I
all-
had in
for
mind
all
for you,
the-
Easy man.
The
I was
crap
looking
we're
at
giving him.
I was looking at
Listen.
Easy's roster. That was the player I had in mind that I would have taken if I was Easy's GM.
I have to take Ben Simmons. My team needs defense. He is. We talk about guys that can play 1 to 5. He is easily an All NBA defender. Pretty much every year, if you really wanted to put the work in. That's the question with him. The eternal question. He's a 3-time All-Star. If he was on a different roster, I would say he'd average a triple-double personally. But he's on a roster where Joel Embiid needs the ball a lot in his hands. He's got Tobias Harris there too. So the talent doesn't let him get that triple-double necessarily, but he rebounds, he assists, the offense from the outside. Listen, I know he's not going to become a shooter on my team. I'm very well aware of that. But at the same time, that's the reason why we have guys like Mitchell who can spot up. We got guys like Luka who can spot up. We got Cat who who doesn't have to play in the paint. Ben Simmons can play in the paint. We can work around that on offense. And then defensively, I need defense. And based on all the guys that are left that are talented enough to take right now, Ben Simmons is that guy. He's an All NBA defender. He can steal, he can block. I don't know how I don't take a guy who's been 2-time All Defensive and 1-team All NBA. It just doesn't make sense not to take him at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. And when you can get him for free 99, it's it's obviously like you look past all the faults. So I agree. I mean, for all the shit that we've given him here on this podcast that he's taking left and right in the media, he's still stupidly talented player. So yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah, and again, we're still wrecking Simmons right now because the season hasn't started. But it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. Every year he ends up looking good and then playoffs something bad happens. On this roster, I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. He gives me the versatility defensively I need. So if one of them's struggling, it is what it is. I think I'm ready for my next pick.
Go for it.
Maybe I'm not. Okay.
Ooh.
All right, I got it. I'm taking
All right.
Brandon Ingram.
Ooh, man, I was just looking at him. Not that I would have taken him, but yeah, that's a good pick.
He is a 6'8", but he looks a lot. His wingspan makes him look like he's 7 feet. 6'8" forward. He gives me a scoring punch that's uniquely different than the other guys, I would say. Ingram plays a lot like going into the basket, but he can do that midi, kind of like Jason Tatum a little bit. Yeah, he's got that midi down packed. Efficiency stayed around the same. He's been playing on a really terrible Pelicans team for years. His 3-point shooting has improved the last 2 years. He's only getting better. He's been in the league now for 5 years, and he's still he's 24. He just turned 24 21 days ago, and he's been in the league for 5 years. So he's developed. He's looked good. I'd like to see him on a team that's actually good. And with the roster I have right now, we needed the length, we needed the size. And with what's left, it's either taking a guy who's not as talented offensively or taking the risk on Brandon Ingram, who he's not a bad defender at all, in my opinion. I don't think he's a bad defender personally. And even for being a star player on the Pelicans, he only gets 2 turnovers a game. Like, he's not going to cost me a game. And I'm looking at my roster right now. The only guys that I could see me costing a game is Ben Simmons. And if he's the only guy costing me a game, when I have this type of talent around him, I'm feeling good about a Brandon Ingram pick. I'm telling you, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, does everything. He checks all the boxes. Not as good of a defender as Jaylen Brown, but I think he has the potential to get to that point. If he gets a little bit bigger, which I would assume he would because he's only 24. Like 27, 28 is when I'm seeing him be at his physical peak. So yeah, I'm taking.
I mean, look, who needs defense when you're shooting the lights out? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like he's a great talent. I love the pick. I if I didn't already have a small forward, I probably would have taken him with this pick. So yeah, I don't know if Benny, if you had any thoughts before we move on.
For your 5th pick, it can't get any better than Brandon Ingram, for sure.
Agreed.
Right,
so
I'm like looking at the board right now. I don't know if you guys have the board in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that this was such a guard heavy 25 and under.
Yeah, there's a lot of point guards, especially. So it's kind of difficult to find a secondary.
There's a huge drop off for big men.
Yeah.
Like, once you took Sabonis, that was it. Like, DeAndre Ayton's still there, but like, I like DeAndre, but like, do I like him enough to not to like take him before a guard that's here? Because like the guards that are still left are like really good guards.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good guards left, and I have to take one of them now because the only thing I'm really missing in this lineup is a shooting guard.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of struggling to pick a shooting guard over, I guess, what you would consider traditional point guard in this draft, in this exercise. So that being said, the guy I'm gonna pick isn't necessarily a shooting guard, but I'm gonna try to fit him in there. So I'm gonna go, and you guys probably, I don't know if you guys will agree with it or not, but I'm gonna go Jamal Murray here.
Nice. Yeah,
So
I agree 100%.
I feel like, okay, first of all, the guy's shooting 40% from 3. So I mean, let's just start with that. He's averaging about 21 points. I think he has a good, kind of triple threat all around game. I think he doesn't need the ball in his hands to succeed, and with Trae Young, realistically, like, Trae is going to be the point guard on this team because I can't put him as shooting guard, although they can probably interchange. But I think there's kind of a lack of twos in this draft, at least where we are right now. So I'm going to put Jamal Murray here. I just feel most comfortable and natural with him there at the 2. I think he can do it. So, and also, in terms of playmaking, I have Sabonis, Zion, even Jalen and Trae, but especially Sabonis and Zion. I think you're getting kind of so look at the word I'm looking for, unconventional playmaking from positions you don't expect. So I think having Jamal Murray, Trae Young, Jaylen Brown on the perimeter, I think that's going to cause a lot of problems. So I got to go Murray here.
Nice.
I like it. That's a tough team to play against with Jaylen Brown and Murray, and then you have to worry about Trae Young on when you're defending, and Zion when you're defending running at you. And then you have Sabonis cleaning up whatever's left. It's a good team.
Yeah.
Nope. So with that, I think we're on to Benny.
Yeah, and these are Benny's last 2 picks. So
yeah, so they're gonna be back to back here. Yeah.
Let's correct. See. So I guess after these 2 picks, I'll just recap kind of what my team is. So I was looking at my roster. I probably needed a point guard because I wanted Shea a shooting guard, but the big thing was that I needed is speed. I decided to go with one of the fastest players in the NBA, and he's probably the fastest player on this 25 and under list. I'm going to go with De'Aaron Fox, and he's going to be my point guard, who's become a very, very good scorer, especially on a very bad team. And it's
yeah, that's true.
Kings gang,
it's efficient, man, for a point guard shooting 48%, and I don't think he's the biggest type of point guard either. I have it here. He's only 6'3". He's 6'3", 185, and he's shooting 48% in the NBA on the Sacramento Kings. That's a W. So I'm gonna go with him. He's a very good defender too. That's kind of a trend here on my team, I've noticed. But he's a very good defender. And don't they kind of do like a play on words with Dora, the swipey fox nonsense?
Yeah, swipe of the fox.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's his like Twitter handle.
Yeah. Something cringe like that. So I went with him. He's gonna clog those passing lanes. He's a good shooter as well. His 3-point shot is kind of streaky, but again, 6'3" point guard on the Kings. What can you ask for? But good scorer nonetheless. Good around the basket as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's actually
Yeah.
one of my favorite players.
No,
I
don't worry.
will
He'll be a
say-
future Sixer. So
Yeah. I will say I wouldn't say he's a good defender. He's good at like creating turnovers, but I wouldn't say he's a good defender.
Okay, a good team defender then.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that. It's kind of like Curry. Like that, he's not a great defender, but he still gets steals.
it's
the
a
same thing.
gambit, right? It's like if he's reaching
Yeah.
in, it's either gonna end in a turnover, or he's gonna have to hope somebody's behind him to help him out.
Yeah,
But you know,
yeah.
I think you want guys who take the risk at that
Right. Yeah.
position. So
And then my final pick is I went with DeAndre Ayton. Aside from Bam and maybe Tatum, I don't have much rebounding. I went with Ayton. You could just throw him in there. And then he's also different from Bam in the sense that he actually has kind of post moves that Bam doesn't have. And he's a better rebounder than Bam probably. So I went with him. Good shot blocker as well. So my team to round out is from 1 to 5. So from point guard to center is I have De'Aaron Fox, Shea Alexander, I guess Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, and Bam Adebayo, and then Aiden off the bench.
Not bad. That's
I
kind
don't
of
hate it,
interesting that
yeah.
I knew you would have to put Aiden or Bam on the bench.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. Would Shea be a small forward in this
He could.
situation? I feel
Yeah,
like Shea would have
yeah.
to be a
but
small
you
forward.
can
for
put
sure.
him shooting guard or small forward. Yeah.
for sure.
Right, but like
I
I'm
could-
thinking because of Booker and his defensive
Yeah.
liability a bit,
Yeah.
you would want to probably have Shea at small forward. That's just like
That's
something
fair.
I'm just thinking
sure.
about.
for sure. I agree with that.
And we're gonna look at everybody's teams at the end. I'm assuming, right? Like just what we're
Yeah, we'll
missing,
do a
what
recap.
we're like. Okay.
For sure.
So that means you have
So
your last
it's
pick.
on me. This is really tough. I'm picking a 6-man. I feel like my starting lineup of, Trey and Murray, my backcourt, Sabonis and Zion there, solidifying my front court, and then Jalen there at the 3. So I feel like I kind of want to go more defensive on this, just to really kind of put in defensive specialist on this. But it's a struggle. There aren't a lot of really great defensive specialists that I can call upon. So I don't know. I part of me wants to say fuck it and just draft Michael Porter Jr., but I'm not going to do that. But
I wouldn't hate you for doing it.
I
but,
wouldn't
like,
hate it either.
I wouldn't hate it either. But the thing is, I
so
feel like
much
there's
upside.
a little more solid options on this team, and I'm gonna go with a guy that's like unconventional. Again, I think there are better players than him left on the board.
You're going based off need then, I guess, or like
I'm
fit?
kind of going based off need. I'm kind of filibustering here so I can look at his basketball reference. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Sorry, I'm filibustering. I'm gonna
okay,
go with Mccall Bridges. I'm gonna go with Mccall Bridges. I feel
you.
like he's a tweener. I can put him as small forward. Maybe extend him to power forward just because of that crazy what do you call it? Wingspan. But I like the defensive kind of edge he brings off the bench. I feel like I really need that on this team. So I'm gonna go Mccall Bridges with this.
Yeah.
Man, it's just tough to pass up on like
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. from Mccall Bridges.
I think his ceiling is like I agree. That MPJ's ceiling is crazy. I just think that I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see more from him. I think for this team too, I already have like bona fide scorers.
Yeah.
So I want to get somebody with a better defensive edge because MPJ would kill me defensively. Like it does not really align.
I get why you went with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get why you went with it.
So I'm going Mccall Bridges.
Okay. I feel like we're at this point of the draft where I can't even draft based on need. Like I can't justify picking a need over talent. I got like 3 tall guys already. I don't want to pick a 4th guy. I can't justify taking like Jared Allen or Jaren Jackson. I can't justify taking those guys. There is John Collins. I'm not going to take him. I don't think he gets much better than what he is personally. I know there's a lot of listeners on this fantasy basketball chat. PSF, shout out PSF 4.0 this season. There's a lot of John Collins fans there. I
There you
personally
go.
don't think he gets a lot better. So I can't go with him. I'm going to go just purely based on upside. And you know what? We worry about the problems later. We trade someone later. Who knows? I'm going to go John Morant.
Ooh, okay.
I have to take the best talent available. I understand Michael Porter Jr. is a huge talent, I think he's great, but I also think he'll never learn how to play defense ever.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern with this guy.
So if I'm gonna take someone based on who cares about defense, I might as well go with the guy who's leading a team to the playoffs 2 years in a row with pretty much no other star counterpart. Valanciunas was the second best player this year, and he's gotten better the last 2 years. It's only up from here. He needs to improve a little bit as a shooter, but he doesn't even take that many threes to begin with. So I think he needs to work on that. But in the playoffs, like 30 points a game, 5 assists, and I'm getting this out of a guy who is 22 years old, just turned 22 44 days ago. And as a sixth man, I can't even complain. I mean, sheesh. There's some other guys here that maybe I would have considered taking, but I just like John Moran a lot and what he does.
Can you rattle off your team real quick? What's your entire roster?
Yeah. So I have 1 of 5 Donovan Mitchell at point guard, Luka at shooting guard. Well, actually no. Yeah, Luka, I got shooting guard. I got Brandon Ingram at small forward. I got Ben Simmons at power forward.
Yeah, his natural position.
Again, all these guys are very positionless. And then I got Cat at 5, John Moran at 6. Or 6 man.
Yeah, John Moran 6 man. Okay.
It's not
yeah, I mean,
the sexiest
I also love
defensive
John
roster,
Moran. Yeah,
but like,
There's no wrong answer for that one.
I agree. Yeah, at this point in the draft, you're kind of picking like either for need or just like kind of, a good talent that may not fit your roster, but I get you.
So, what were you saying, Benny?
Yeah, we already talked about MPG, so we could just ignore him for MPJ. Sorry, we could just ignore him for a little bit. But are there any other honorable mentions that we maybe would have picked? And if there were other players that were, let's say, maybe some of these guys were 26 and we couldn't pick them?
100%.
Any players? I have one in mind. It's Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's not the
one.
Well,
no, Lonzo's 23, isn't he?
Yeah. Exactly.
No. I wasn't saying that Lonzo was the wrong pick. I was saying that that's the Ron Ball brother that I was thinking of.
Okay, you're thinking LaMelo. LiAngelo. LiAngelo. He looks fucking great in the summer league. Oh my god.
He was drilling some threes,
lighting it on fire. Okay, but Lonzo. Okay.
I was thinking Lonzo. At least Easy said LaMelo. I guess that's
man. He's 19 and he already made the Hornets look fun. Like, I don't know what to say. There's something to be said about a guy who can make a team look good, even when they're playing bad. And he did teenager. That. Right. And like, dude, like the upside on him is insane. Like it's really insane that this guy, we thought he wasn't even going to be a decent shooter coming into the league, and this season he was a 35% 3-point shooter, and everyone thought that the shooting would have to take a little bit of time to get used to because his form was a little bit weird, at least in Australia. But and free throws were a concern in Australia too. Remember, free throws, he was a terrible free throw shooter in Australia, and this season he was 75% from the free throw line. So they protected him a bit in the beginning. They didn't play him a lot. And then towards the end of the season, that's when we started seeing him turn up. I think he's got a bright future. For me, LaMelo was one of them that I was like, I know I'm not going to take him in this draft, but man, I wish I could. Like
it's like it's hard to justify. Sorry, Benny, but I was just gonna say it's hard to justify LaMelo over some of these other guards. So yeah, I get it. What were you gonna say, Benny?
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say my bad because I thought we were done with the other one. Do we have any Colin Sexton shouts? Because that was another one I was thinking about.
Nah.
I saw him on a lot of lists when I was researching, but I just feel like I don't know. I think it's a lot of empty stats from him. I think it's a lot of inefficiency. So I'm not about the Colin Sexton. One guy I did have an eye on is RJ Barrett, just because like he's only in his second season, and I think he had a great improvement last year. And actually, as opposed to Colin Sexton, who was a lot of empty stats, I felt like RJ Barrett got the chance to prove, okay, no, it's not just empty stats. Here I am in the playoffs, playing well enough. He wasn't the first option, which I think is what you want.
Yeah, and he'll get better. He'll
get better 100%. And he was shooting 40% from the three this year, which is like a huge jump from last year. He was shooting only 32%.
Absolutely.
That's on Basketball Reference. So
yeah, I think that RJ Barrett needs to.
Got an appearance.
Let's go.
Solomon, right? That's his name, Benny.
Solomon,
the boy.
Let's go.
That'll be good for YouTube. Go on YouTube, subscribe so you can see Benny's cute ass husky. But go ahead, Easy. What you can say?
I'm thinking there's a guy that like we don't have enough of a sample size to know how good he'll be. Anthony Edwards, man.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
He
one.
could be.
he's the guy I saw
He
pop
could
up
be
a lot too.
really, really, really good. He's basically Wiggins, but like not a problem. Like, I guess like I just see so much upside with him so far. Like just based on that first season, I really, really like his two-way possibility, and I think he's gonna keep growing personally. All these guys that are coming out like 18, 19 years old, and them growing like an inch or two, so he'll end up being 6'6" or 6'5",
Yeah.
and I think he's got great two-way potential. Great two-way potential.
I feel the same way about different positions, but I feel similarly about Dejante Murray,
Yeah.
who's another guy that I like, and I think his something I saw mentioned when I was doing research for him was his point of attack defense, and couple that with his good, developing offensive game. He averages more than 1.5 steals a game, so I think he's someone who deserves an honorable mention. He just gets zero shine because San Antonio's like
Yeah, and I
a
mean, I
black
think
hole.
he's a victim. He's a victim of the
Yeah.
organization he's in.
I agree.
That's the problem. I kind of want to know because you were saying that there's a lot of like hope for centers, Leva. Like, who are you looking at right now?
Well, I mean, we took
guys,
3 in our draft, and we're talking about Cat,
I would, yeah, but we need
Sabonis.
centers. Like we needed a
No, I agree, but I'm just saying, like, obviously for this exercise, obviously, yeah, we need to take centers
right.
at
Like,
one point or another. But yeah,
who's your next best center? I'm just curious.
well, I mean, I think we mentioned the 3 of them here. So if you're looking at like a
Right.
next up, right after
Yeah, like, we
after
had to get another
Jokic,
one.
after
Oh,
Embiid.
I meant in this like process, not like overall in the NBA. I'm saying like
The next. I
who's gonna
mean,
be
yeah, after I agree with you. After these 3, it's like a drop off. I mean, you're looking at Jared Allen,
yeah, like
guys like
I went
that.
Jared
Like,
Allen, and I felt so horrendous doing that
Yeah.
because Jared Allen, don't get me wrong, he's a great talent, but there is a drop off between him
Yeah,
and Ayton.
he's a purely defensive player. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
huge drop off. I agree.
So
But in general, I mean, I feel like there are a lot of, I mean, just 4 good centers in this draft, right? It's like Adebayo, Ayton,
Cat Sabonis.
Sabonis. Yeah, exactly. So, we're talking about 4 guys under 25 who are, or 25 and under, who are,
Yeah.
really good and
That's true.
can keep it going in terms of like the whole center, not renaissance, but just, there's been like a swing back towards centers lately. At
Yeah.
least, it's been helpful. You just saw Jokic win MVP, right? So, but yeah.
But yeah, one more guy before we like wrap this up.
Yeah, definitely go for it.
It's a shame that his injuries have happened in his career, but as a defender, I really was tempted to take Jonathan Isaac.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I just can't trust his health, but I
can't
hear
trust the
you.
health
Yeah.
at all. But
Yeah.
man, if I can get that guy on defense, I'm looking at a guy who gets 1.5 steals and 2.3 blocks as a forward. That is
Yeah, I mean, his measurables are ridiculous. Like, the guy's tall, but he's quick. His wingspan is crazy. I mean,
I just wish he was healthy. I can't I'm considering injuries in this whole thing.
is
so,
he?
like,
He's still in Chicago, right?
no, Jonathan Isaac was Orlando.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, Orlando. That's what I meant. Yeah, so he's still there. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we'll
he's
see.
still
Hopefully
there,
they can rehab.
but he was injured.
Yeah.
Remember, he
Yeah,
I think he tore the ACL or
Yeah.
something with his knee. But yeah, those are the guys I had my eye on. I actually wrote RJ Barrett too. Funny that you brought him up. And then he's not going to be as good as these other guys, but I love Halliburton.
I think he could be good. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he will be as good as the other guys, but I think he has a lot of
like,
potential. Yeah.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
But and also OG Anunoby. That's another guy I wrote
Yeah.
down. But
Yeah, I like OG.
those are the
Especially
less-
when you talk about like defensive specialists, right?
Those
So
are
any
the less-
Tyler Hero shouts?
Any Tyler Hero shouts for sure. Maybe Tyler Hero's son.
I'll have him
Or
on my
Doc-
team, Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Hey man, 3 dudes, 1 hoop manifested knowing that Katya was pregnant though. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
one day we got to talk
Oh,
about this,
crap.
like the deep dives that we did
Yeah,
on
we
Instagram.
we knew about this for months before.
We were
was
breaking it
even
down. We were
announced.
breaking it down tape. We were
Yeah.
studying film. Yeah. But I think that about does it for us. Look out for us. I guess we'll probably post each of our teams so you guys can give us your feedback on Instagram. Like I said, look out for this pod on YouTube if you'd rather look at our beautiful faces and Benny's beautiful dog Solomon while we talk. We'll be on Spotify. We'll be on Apple Pod as always. Be sure to follow us on all those platforms. And yeah, I think that does it for us, right, guys?
Yep, sounds good to
All
me.
right, cool.
Sounds
We'll
good,
see
guys.
you next week for the next episode then. That being said, later.
All right, guys, take it easy.